the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Miriam Cohen,
Present.
Tom Cole,
Here.
Gail Alpern, absent, Karen Schoenberg, Larry Rosen, Surjit Sandhu, Jay Rustler, from the Greenbriar Board, Mark Sirks.
Not here.
Oh, he's not here. Alan Greenberg,
Here.
Jack Sandler,
Here.
Chester Trubinsky, Wayne Baruch,
Here.
Jamie Cullen, and myself, Michelle Shanahan.
Motion to approve the minutes of the July 25th, 2023 joint open board meeting minutes, please. Motion. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Nay, any abstention? Minutes are approved. We have a controller's report this evening? No, we don't. Very good. Property managers report.
Good evening, everybody. Quick report from me for today. Greenbriar will touch on their upcoming paving project, but in case you've noticed, there's a lot of paving equipment in the WOA parking lot. That right now is they're doing paving of driveways in the condos. They're going to be doing some minor repairs on Newcastle for us for WOA, and they're going to be doing some paving in Greenbriar. So that is why they're staging, but they'll be out of here before you know it. A few more weeks to go. And then after that, there'll be some seal coating in September. So paving is in August. Seal coating is going to wait until September because it's better when the temperatures are just a little bit cooler for seal coating and crack filling. The ponds are being treated regularly. We do get calls. So what you're going to notice is with the rainfall like we had last night and today, that we are going to have an algae bloom next week. Hot weather and the water's washing everything into the ponds will cause an algae bloom. They will come inspect and treat. We have to follow DEP regulations for how often we can treat and what we can treat with. You have aquatic wildlife, you have other wildlife eating from the pond. So there are regulations. We do care. We want them to look beautiful. We want you to be proud of your home. We know that a lot of people paid a premium for waterfront property, but we can only treat it within the regulations. So just please keep that in mind. As far as WOA is concerned, we did have a loss of one of our employees last week, Alan Swenson. We will all miss him dearly. We have gotten a lot of calls and questions. We did send out information on his arrangements to the community. If anyone didn't get them and is curious, just give us a call in the office. We'll be happy to let you know what those arrangements are. We're doing our very best to fill in until we can figure out what we're going to do next while we also grieve the loss of Alan. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to give us a call in the management office.
Thank you. Recreation.
Hi, I'm just going to give a brief report on recreation. For Sunday, August 20th, there is an ABBA tribute show in the ballroom, which is currently sold out. It's waitlist only. Wednesday, August 23rd, there's a bus trip to New York City Theater District, $30 per person. Right now, there's only 2 seats available. You can see the concierge to register. Wednesday, September 6th, there's a bus trip to the Tropicana in Atlantic City. It's $25 per person. Only 2 seats are available. You can see the concierge as well to register. Sunday, September 10th is the 24th annual Arts and Crafts Fair in the ballroom. Be sure to stop by and see all of your talented neighbors. Wednesday, September 27th is a bus trip to New York City Theater District again for $30 per person. Sold out, waitlist only. On Friday, September 29th at 7 p.m. We're having a show, the Be Tell show in the ballroom, which is sold out, waitlist only. And we are currently in process of planning a family fun day. It's in the works and more details will follow from that.
Before we move on, I would like to just take a moment. Many of us here knew Alan pretty well. And he was in and out of our houses often enough. And he was a loyal and good employee. And I have very fond memories of him. He will be missed by all of us who worked with him. And it was sad. It is just sad. I still remember him helping me when my husband was ill and he came into the house to do something, and he just made it easier. And all of that is why we are fortunate in the people who work for us, that they care about those of us who live here as well as caring about their jobs. We're going to move on to GWCA business, please.
Good evening, everyone. So we have 2 points of business on our agenda. The first one is a paving update, which Jack will provide for us.
As per what Jamie said before, the project will begin sometime towards the end of August, beginning of September. We have to actually get the exact date. Notices will go out. And as we said at the last meeting, we've always had pretty much 98, 99% compliance among the residents. Please follow the detours, be extra careful, don't go where you're not supposed to go. Please don't drive on the newly paved road when it's brand new. And so we are confident that everybody will follow those instructions. You will be getting notices about that. The streets that will be done are Aberdeen Way, Penway, Sherwood Drive, Prattville, Trent Road, and the remaining section of Chichester Road. If there's not too much rain, this job can be completed within 5 to 7 days, but it depends on the weather, it depends on the heat. And so we're hoping that it will go well. This is the 7th year of our paving project. We're just about almost done. There might be 1 or 2 streets that have relatively little usage as far as through traffic. So those streets are being held off for the time being, but we're quite happy with the way the community is looking now with the repaved roads. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. The next topic for us is the berm enhancement update. Last month's meeting, Mark had filled you in a little bit about what was going on. So we're going through a multi-year project of updating the berms all around the perimeter of the Greenbriar part of the community. The first section is being done along Half Acre Road, scheduled for the end of August with planting to begin in September. Oh, yes, go ahead.
I just want to add one thing. You know, when Greenbriar was brand new, going back 25 years approximately, you know, the builder puts in a certain size bushes or trees, and it takes them a number of years to grow. And then they get too big, and then they have to be trimmed back, or there are sections of them that are dead or are no longer living, no longer living, or don't look good. So I just want to remind everybody here, especially those people who live on the berm, who might be expecting immediate miracles in how the berm looks from their perspective, from their house looking out. There might be some gaps, there might be some spaces. The bushes and trees that are being put in are not monster trees and monster bushes. It does take at least 3 years for them to fill in and grow. But you have to keep in mind that once those 3 years approximately comes, your view from your home to the street will be improved, will be better because you won't see the street, and the overall look of the community from the outside will be much nicer. So we do ask that you just keep in mind that the initial view that you might have some gaps and spaces, and we'll try to remedy what situations we can, but please be aware that it could take up to approximately 3 years, at least 3 years, for it to fill in nicely so it looks beautiful. Thank you.
Returning this to us for this moment, nothing specifically now. Okay,
It's all you.
thank you. We did approve, the community approved electronic voting. I noticed for our next election. It's present on our agenda. Jamie, did you have something you wanted to add to the? Sorry, I thought it was
Just-
on.
Just a reminder that right now electronic notice and electronic voting for WOA is an active policy. We sent out an email to everyone that we had opted in or not opted in. If you received that, it doesn't have anything to do with the emails you get from the community. It's strictly for electronic notice and electronic voting. Do you want to opt in? If you opt in for electronic voting, you can still vote by a paper ballot. If you decide, I don't like this, it's confusing, I'm away, I'm not going to be home, whatever it is. So opting in gives you the ability, it means you'll get the emails and the notices about electronic voting, but you can still vote in person by paper if you prefer. So just know that it's an option. It's not a mandate. We would love to get as many people as possible enrolled so that if you are away or something else happens, you have the ability to vote electronically. So if you have not opted in and it's something you're interested in and you got our email, but you weren't sure what to do, just give us a call in the office or shoot me an email and we'll make sure that we have you signed up.
Thank you. The next item on WOA's agenda is the speed camera policy. For those of you who were here last month, the board postponed voting on that because the members of the WOA board had some questions. I believe those have been resolved. Would you like to detail the policy? Either one of you is doing it.
I'll do it.
Oh, goody.
I believe we had this at the table in the front, but for those of you who haven't, I believe we had it, how's that? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe we had it on the table in the back. But for those who have not gotten a copy, the speed camera policy regarding residents and guests. First offense, 5 to 9 miles an hour over the speed limit, you get a warning letter. 10 to 15 miles over the speed limit, a violation letter and a $10 fine. 16 to 20 miles per hour over the speed limit, a violation letter and a $10 fine. 21 miles per hour plus over the speed limit, a violation letter, a $10 fine, and deactivate barcode and ID for 30 days. The second offense, 5 to 9 miles per hour over the speed limit, a violation letter and a $10 fine. 10 to 15 miles over the speed limit, a violation letter and a $10 fine. 16 to 20 miles per hour over the speed limit, a violation letter, $10 fine, and deactivation of barcode and ID for 30 days. Same applies with 21 miles per hour over the speed limit for the second offense, the $10 fine and deactivate the barcode and ID 30 days. Third or more offense, 5 to 9 miles per hour over the speed limit, violation letter, $10 fine, and deactivate barcode and ID 30 days. That applies to the next 3 categories. So, or all 4 categories within the third or more offense. We're hoping when all this is together, the whole idea here is to slow down people in the community. We hope that people will do so. That's a little personal note that I attach to it. The speed camera policy for non-residents and contractors, 5 to 9 miles per hour over the speed limit, they get a warning letter via standard mail. 10 to 15 miles per hour over the speed limit, a warning letter via standard mail, and 16 miles per hour over the speed limit, a warning letter and certified mail. Second offense, 5 to 9 miles per hour, a warning letter, standard mail. 10 to 15 miles per hour over the speed limit, a warning letter, certified mail. 16 plus miles per hour over the speed limit, warning letter and certified mail. Third or more offenses, 5 to 9 miles per hour over the speed limit, a warning letter via certified mail. 10 to 15 miles per hour over the speed limit, a letter and contact the Monroe Township Police Department. 16 plus miles per hour over the speed limit, again, a letter and contact the Monroe Township Police Department. We are also, as I mentioned in the previous week, we're talking about the previous meeting, talking about making these violations for contractors part of any new contracts that we issue. And that's the sum and substance of the speed camera policy. So any questions by anybody?
Okay, don't. Please come up and use the microphone that we don't think.
Turn the microphone on.
Rose Ferrara from 3 Has this been approved or are you going to vote on this? Okay. And have we had accidents in the community that brought this to the foreground? How many? 62. Thank you.
Anyone else? Folks, if you have a question, please come to the microphone.
Is it on? Hello? Okay. Ken Salzinger, 46 Westminster Drive. What about people like you? What about people like UPS? Are they included as contractors or not? What about mail people? What about the police force themselves? Are
Yes.
they?
Well, the police force obviously is a
As well.
separate issue, but certainly the post office and UPS, FedEx, anybody like that is included.
And how are you going to enforce that besides those letters? Because basically they may say, to hell with Greenbriar, to hell with Whittingham, we won't deliver you, correct?
They could.
So,
They will find out really quickly, and it will get a lot of business to somebody else.
and the other question I have is it part of our bylaws that we can include the police department in our affairs? I thought that was not part of the.
I don't understand your comment.
The comment is, he said that the police department, when it came to contractors, would be notified. Am I correct? Did you say?
I don't,
Yes, so
No, I didn't say that.
it does, it does. So what it states is that we will contact them. So
I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to the board. I'm not
Okay.
interested in this and your response.
you told me.
Fine, let me answer, please.
Thank you.
What I said was in the last paragraph, the third or more offense, the Monroe Township Police Department will be notified of any contractor, so all the ones we talked about, as to how much over the speed limit people went. They'll get a copy of the speed report that our camera reports to us, and they'll get an opportunity to deal with it. What they do with it after that is out of our hands.
Well, I mean, but we're a private enterprise here, correct? How could the police department take action in involving
can't.
people? They can't.
they can take action when there's an accident. We call the police.
We're not talking about
When,
an
I
accident.
know why don't you just let me
Go ahead.
clarify what I'm saying? Your police will take action. We did have an incident with a resident with a gun several years ago, and the police were called. So yes, the police come into this community. The authority to issue tickets in this community is not held by our police department. That you need, if now 3 or 4 adult communities have chosen to do that in their efforts to control speeding. There has been no movement in this community to do that. and it's called Title 39. We, the community, would have to apply to the police department. There are criteria, which I certainly don't know off the top of my head, that the community must meet. And then an ordinance must be drafted by the township council, and then that ordinance approved by the township council to allow the police department to do Title 39 in the community. To my knowledge, there has been no discussion, certainly not at the WOA board, about invoking Title 39 and asking the township to approve it at all. Is that what, Ken, did that answer what you were
Well,
referencing?
Are we only looking at one speed camera or are we looking multiple? And how much will each of them cost?
It's already purchased. And right now, well,
Before they approve it.
to answer your question, we're not approving the purchase of the speed camera tonight. That's already done. This is the policy that we're approving or not approving. The
Thank you.
policy regarding speeding.
Catherine Dodano, 31 Leeds. We have a lot of unanswered questions about this policy. This is really
Louder,
the
Kath.
first
Mr.
that we
Dono,
are
into the mic.
hearing about it. Now, I don't know if the board or the homeowners are aware that speed cameras in the state of New Jersey are illegal under statute 39-4-1031. Now, we are a private community. I am aware of that. But do we want to put ourselves in that kind of position with the state of New Jersey? That's number one. The violations, the information that we received today for the very first time has never been discussed with any homeowner. No one has been able to give their feedback. We have other alternatives that we can certainly review first before we go against New Jersey state law.
Excuse me, one second. First, it's very, very nice. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I have more.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. First of all, everything that you just quoted about the state, we are exempt from. So it's
Well,
it's not applicable.
I spoke with the Department of Community Affairs. And the Department of Community Affairs indicates that even though we are a private community, we do have to follow New Jersey state law. Now, what possibly could happen is that this particular program becomes unenforceable. So I think, number one, I don't know if we have spoken with legal counsel on this issue.
Yes, we have.
Okay, and if they feel that it is okay to proceed, then I
Yes.
suppose we will take our chances. But in addition to that, the community itself, the homeowners here have not been made aware of these policies. We've gone out, the board has gone out and purchased cameras without considering other options. I have 8 other alternatives that we could possibly use to reduce speed within the community. Now, in addition to that, when you look at violations for non-residents and contractors, because this is against the law in New Jersey, you will not be able to get any information about the motorist or their identification or anything. So that is a completely moot point as far as I can tell. So this is only geared towards the residents of this community. And I think in addition to that, looking at this for the very, very first time, these are excessive. I mean, for 30 days, you deactivate a barcode on 5 miles an hour on a third offense? I don't understand. And let me add one more thing. In the Voice, in the August Voice, it indicated, there was an article indicating that a new radar detecting device will capture speed data. That's the most information we had, license plate information, and take a picture of the vehicle when in excess of posted speed. It also indicated that a letter was shared with the community. Did anybody get a letter? I didn't think so.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Linda Carrazzo, 34 Leeds. And I'm just curious, you said there was like 70 something accidents. What period of time was that? And how bad were those accidents? What did that involve?
I didn't use the number 70. I do not.
There were how many accidents in this
There,
community?
there have been 62 vehicular incidents reported since January of 2018. We do not.
2018, so that is 5 years. There's 5 years, and that's what the data that you're using? Did it involve 2 cars? What did it involve?
We have had, I can only speak anecdotally, so you will accept that, I would hope. But I have been in the parking lot where one of our vehicles went over another car parked in the parking lot.
Well,
Drove-
if the
well,
car went, okay,
Look, either you're going to permit me to speak or you're not. It has
So-
not usually been at this meeting that we don't allow people to speak. So we have had that incident. We have had incidents where indeed people have been transported to the hospital. This is all
how many people
anecdotal.
have been
I
transported?
said that this is anecdotal.
Well, anecdotal. And
If
you're
you
gonna-
want the data, we can certainly.
Yes,
get
I would
that
love the data.
Sure.
And I don't understand. It's like, who actually buys equipment before something's been approved? I mean, that's
don't
kind of
understand.
fugazi. You bought the equipment, you
Yes, we
bought the
did.
cameras
The
already.
board has the authority
but-
to make decisions of this nature.
Right, but it wasn't approved. So why would you buy the equipment? I never heard of such a thing.
The board has the authority to make.
But who buys
decisions.
equipment with?
We do. We plan to
Okay,
adopt.
and
the
now if it's
policy.
not approved, what do you do with that equipment? Do you have a receipt to return
It
it?
is, I believe and I know that the board has discussed this speed policy. The committee has been working for months and reporting to the board, and it was a joint committee.
Okay,
It
so,
was always the board,
but it's not approved. So why would you buy the equipment?
because we plan to adopt a policy.
And what about the rest of the community? What about all these people
po-
here? Don't they have something to say?
The
Doesn't the
board,
community have something to say about what goes on here?
I am,
Just the board has what to say,
the board has the authority to make those decisions.
regardless of what the general population of the
We
community?
would hope, well, the whole committee is not here. We would hope that we make decisions with the communities that they believe are appropriate. Sometimes I'm pretty sure we've made decisions that the community hasn't liked. That
Well,
doesn't
if-
mean we don't make them.
Okay, so if the community, if the majority of the community is not happy with this policy, which is illegal in New Jersey, I would imagine that you would want to represent the community. No?
I don't,
Wouldn't it, don't you
I'm-
want to represent, isn't this board representative of the community? So now, if the majority of the community
Mhm.
does not want the cameras, why wouldn't you be representative of what the general population would say?
you are assuming that the majority of the community objects.
You're assuming that they want it.
I am assuming
Okay,
that the
can
board.
I ask you something? Wait, I have a question. Why wouldn't you try to do speed bumps or something like that?
One of the reasons, and one of the reasons we did not choose speed bumps was because in doing some of the research around it, we received objections from, or concerns, not objections, certainly from ambulances that don't like to have to get out of the community.
Really?
Yes, I
So
did.
that's it. There's all these ambulances. They really have what to say goes on here.
You know, this is the
Can I say
answer.
something?
Sure.
Let me say something. Have you been at all our meetings?
No, and now I have to tell you something because of.
But
things that are-
please let me finish for once.
Okay, you could finish.
Thank you. We have had previous meetings. We have made statements. Alan right here has made very concise statements. We have talked about speed bumps. We have talked about speed humps. We have talked about other types of devices to stop. We also said in many previous meetings that we were trying to avoid a lot of that for one of the reasons that Miriam just mentioned, because of public vehicles and the problems that they might have. There are other things that can be done. And this is a step. If the community would like to have speed bumps,
Mhm.
we will vote on that at another
Okay.
time. And if the community would like to have Title 39 and allow the police to come in here, that's a whole other subject.
Yeah, I don't really think. the police-
I brought this up right from the very beginning. I said I was hoping to have not to become an enemy of our residents, that the whole initial plan was a three-step plan to do the minimal amount that we could at first. Then if that didn't work, which it didn't, then we take the next step. This became part of the next step. We all agreed here, and we've discussed this speed camera at least 2 meetings, possibly 3 now.
Okay.
This
So-
is the first time that I've heard anybody complain, and I don't get it. We're trying to make this community safer. Our committee is trying to make this community safer. We all on the board are trying to make the committee safer. And now, last minute, is it because it's election time? Is everybody now want to complain?
Okay, so I've been living here 5 years. I don't always come to the meetings. I think I came once. And as I'm living here in 5 years, I've seen my services deteriorate. I've seen things go on. I've seen things go on here that are horrendous.
I am going to ask you to please restrain your comments to the safety policy.
Okay.
And if you have other issues that you would like
Yeah,
to
I will.
discuss
I
with
will.
the
And
board,
I will.
we have a time, we need to
Yeah,
go to the
so
other
the only other
speakers.
thing that I want to say that could be done, because when I come in this community, those gates, there's always issues with the gates. Who drives into the
Yes.
gates? If anything, if you want to have a security camera, have it at the gates. Whoever breaks down that gate, have them
We
respond.
do have one. We have a security camera
Okay,
at the
And
gate.
is the person that
Yes,
breaks, are they paying for the gates now?
yes, yes.
Good. Okay, that's all, because
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yes, it
That
is.
That I could
Abso-
understand. But it's
Absolutely.
for the community, it's like, we don't want to be monitored like a police.
Your
state.
objection has been noted.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Sir?
Good evening, everybody. Bob Forsack, 138 Chichester. Before I do the questions, Miriam, I was there when that lady ran on top of the car.
I know.
That had nothing to do with speed. And
No,
had
but she
nothing to
was
do with the
asking-
roads in this
And
community.
I
It was
said
wrecking them.
anecdotally, she was asking about accidents and I was just mentioning some of them.
Right.
That's all.
But I'd
Yep.
be interested in how many people on the roads
That
themselves.
information can be obtained from the
Where-
police department.
Um, First of all.
I
gen-
heard that.
Generally as a rule, sometimes they don't do it. Most police departments and policemen, when they run radar or they follow you, generally as a rule, they give you that 10 miles an hour over the limit. Now, not all of them do. Some of them break your chops and they're going to give you the ticket. But one of the reasons, two of the reasons, and I think many people probably out here don't understand why, is because when you have your car and it's brand new and it has the stock tires, your speedometer is calibrated plus or minus 5 miles per hour. When the company that makes it, Honda or whoever, they have to be within plus or minus 5 miles an hour by the government of this country. Now, when you get the tires on your car, certain tires are made for certain cars. And it's going to be plus or minus 5 miles an hour. As your tires wear, your speed changes. If you get new tires and they're not the same make and model of the ones with the same numbers, your speedometer is inaccurate. So when I look at this and I see 5 to 9 miles per hour over the speed limit, Your car can say you're going 25, you could be doing 30. So I think maybe that should be looked into a little bit more.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
One other thing.
Sure.
I notice on the bottom, the speed camera policy for non-residents and contractors. Warning letter, warning letter, warning letter. I guess we're the only ones that are going to be paying into
We
this,
can't ticket
the way
them.
it is.
You know that.
Right. But I don't see how you guys can send a warning letter when the license plate information on cars and trucks is confidential and it can't be released to anybody. You
We can
write-
send it to the company, can we not?
I'm sorry?
I would believe, I'm asking you because if I remember, you're also a retired police officer, are you
Yep.
not? Okay, so we could. But I would imagine that the concept is you notify the company that someone has been noticed speeding. You would like to remind them of speed limits within the community. I would think that that would be what the final decision around that.
But I'm sure there's going to be vehicles in here that are maybe not marked, that you're not going to be able to know
Well,
who
I
they
am
are.
sure it's not going to be a perfect policy. I'm sure it's an attempt to keep the community road safer.
All right. And I know before you mentioned about for the visitors that are third time, you're going
Right.
to contact Monroe Township Police Department with the information on the car and all. They can't do anything. This is
Well,
private property. So
No, they can't.
so
They don't
really-
have.
part two on this, this looks
We-
like a moneymaker. That's what this looks like.
Really? Okay.
That's what it looks like. Okay? And the other thing, last but not least, is
Tell 'em
you
that.
mentioned it before and I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
You're getting,
Welcome to our
Miriam, you're
world.
getting me offline on this one.
Well, we all do that.
Go. I'll remember. Go ahead.
Okay.
By the way, I do have the data on where the incidents occurred and how many occurred.
Can't hear you.
I do
Wait.
have the data on where the incidents occurred and how many occurred. I'd have to file a FOIA request for that.
Folks, this was, can we just, yes, please.
Howie Wainer, 9 Birmingham. As I come to these meetings in the last year, I'm kind of upset with this kind of thing. What happens is we come here and I'm not really, you can call me out because it's not only this item that I'm talking about.
Mhm.
You people have taken so much authority in the last few years. What happens? No matter what we say here, you're gonna say, okay, no more comments, then you're gonna take a vote and you're gonna pass it. We have no negative opinion that is recognized by this board, and I find it very upsetting.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Hello, Maureen Bonagueros,
Maury, I'm having trouble hearing you.
little lower. Thank you. Maureen Bonagueros, 74A Winthrop. I have a question that doesn't,
Maureen, I'm having trouble hearing you, please.
my question hasn't been answered, hasn't been brought up so far. So for all these offenses that are going to be picked up by this already purchased speed camera, who's going to track down all these license plates? Well, then how are they giving notices to anyone?
You go to the management.
Well,
I understand from my son, when I was talking to him about this, he said, usually it is done by the speed camera company at a price. And he said it usually runs about $2,000 a month. So this becomes more than just purchasing a speed camera. This is ongoing monitoring of what that speed camera sees, unless there's some other way of doing it. And that's what I'm asking.
if I may answer that. First of all, it's not $2,000 a month. It's $200 a month. And the information is reported to management. There's a list of every homeowner and their license plates, or there should be if you've all filled them out, the census report that has all the license plates. And when your guests come in, they are noted also by security. So we have, it's not perfect, but we have a pretty good idea community-wide what the license plate numbers are and who the cars belong to.
But outsiders coming in, you have no idea.
Well, we do if they check in through the security, of course we do.
Just seems to be an extra expense that we really don't need right now. And I must say,
Thank you.
I was at a luncheon today at Nob Hill. They have speed bumps
yes.
through the main entrance. They are very low. They look like they could be picked up in the winter. And it would have been an answer for us.
That was not the information when this issue was discussed at earlier meetings. There was not a lot of support from people for having speed bumps or speed humps. If the community sense of that has changed, that is good information for the board to have. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I remembered,
Oh, goody. I'm so happy.
Tom, you mentioned before when it was brought up about Federal Express or Amazon or whoever. And somebody said something about the police and you said that was a different story. Well, I can tell you that the first aid in the police department, when they are going to calls, different. But I have been behind, especially the first aid rigs coming in the Concordia gate.
Excuse
That
me,
have-
what's what the
Whoops.
expression you're using? I'm not familiar with what that means. The first day breaks.
The first aid and the police department going out of the community to.
Oh, first aid. I'm sorry. I
aid.
didn't hear the word.
But I have been behind them, especially the first aid, coming in Concordia Gate, coming up to make the turn, going back to their headquarters that are over 50 miles an hour. So
That should
and I've
not
been
be.
behind police also that are over the 25-mile-an-hour
Yeah.
limit. So no, they are no different than we are.
I would assume that they
Not
are.
at all.
All of them tend to
Not
carry
at all.
weapons.
Uh,
That is interesting information. Thank you.
One more.
Sure.
more. About different things to do, speed bumps or whatever. Why isn't it, as per our bylaws and rules and regulations, where it says in there that security basically in the community can get people for violating the motor vehicle laws in this community? It's in black and white. Why haven't we done that? It says security, that's one of their jobs.
Apparently,
Oh, I can show you in the book.
I don't need you to show me the bylaws. I believe what you said, and perhaps sometime I even read them and heard that. But what I'm going to tell you is that we were getting regular reports from many residents that security was ineffective. In not getting enough of the people who were speeding, that the community wanted us to be safer than we were. So that a safety committee was established.
Yes.
And the committee was representative of both Greenbriar and WOA. So that residents from both boards, members from both, residents of the community from both boards were on this committee. And collectively, these were what they came up with. This was not the boards alone, the board deciding that this is what we wanted to do, but rather a committee of both Greenbriar and WOA residents. So
You keep. talking about-
what I'm saying to you is, the committee met.
Okay, perfect. I
please
appreciate it. Let me go out there and do my instruments and we'll go from there. So about 7:20.
Hi.
7:15.
I don't know, we have company. What we did was we were concerned about speeding. We heard from residents. We heard that it wasn't working well enough. We set up a committee of residents. That was not the board deciding that this is what we wanted to do. And the recommendations came from the safety committee. And members were our fellow residents.
Yes, I
And they
understand.
took, and people were invited to make comments, and they have. So
I
what
understand.
I'm hearing is you object to the policy.
All right, I understand fully.
Frank.
And I understand about the safety and the speed. You
That's
want to
all.
make
No.
it safe for people in the community.
all.
And I know it's not just other cars. I know it's the bike riders and the walkers that we're worried about.
Sure.
So I don't see why security can't correct the way that they are improperly riding their bikes or walking to help the safety in this community.
That's an interesting thought. Thank you.
So
That's an interesting thought. That's fine. That's an interesting idea.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bob, may I make a suggestion? Bob, may I make a suggestion? Come to the next safety meeting. We'd like your input.
Wow.
Carol Cooper, 23 Whitehall. Several months ago, when this discussion was in its infancy, I talked about and asked everyone on the board how they felt about speed bumps because they do work. I was also at Nob Hill today, and I was noticing that the trucks slow down. They're very cheap. They can be removed in bad weather, and it really works. I asked everyone on the board what their opinion was about it. There was only one person who said they approved of it. So it doesn't make a point of asking people how they feel if you don't take it into consideration.
Kenny, before you speak a second time, the gentleman behind you hasn't spoken at all. Please. It's all right, please. Oh, gee, you're really retired.
I'm Joe Sacco,
Yes,
number
Joe.
11 London Drive. The one question I'm asking, unless I missed it, the board was asked how many cameras were purchased and how much were they?
One camera was purchased and it was $12,000.
Whoa! So how many cameras are you thinking of buying? So where are you going to put it?
None at the moment.
So where are you going to put it?
It's already active and I'm.
Joe's at the microphone. Be
Excuse me
quiet.
one second. So that I can give you an idea. There is one at the moment. We have had it for 1 week, 1 day, actually. We have had it for 8-hour day. Let me read you some statistics. 30 to 35 miles an hour, 234 people. This is in the 25-mile-an-hour zone. This is 30 to 35. 36 to 40, 112 people. 41 to 45, 24 people. And 46 to 50, 6 people, the highest of which was 48 miles an hour. That gives you an idea of in 1 day. Now, there's no violations yet. It's in the testing mode right now, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what the people in our community are doing. And we hope this will help slow people down.
Is that the speedometer on
That's the one that's on Whittingham.
Whittingham Drive? Yeah.
Correct.
So they're all going to look like that?
There's not going to be all. We have one. And that one will be moved periodically to different places, but only one. And it's only, the one we have is only for WOA streets. If Greenbriar chooses to have one for Greenbriar streets, then they will purchase their own. This is for strictly
It's an awful lot of money.
Whittingham, Newcastle. I think it's Whittingham and Newcastle really that are the major roads.
Mhm.
But just to give you an idea, it's how bad things have gotten over the years. And it's kind of sad. We're trying to do something to get people to slow down. And I just hope you will, so that there aren't any. Somebody asked the question before about this, or said something about this as a moneymaker. If people don't speed, there's no money. So what we're talking about is, okay, violate the speed limits. But then don't fine anybody. that doesn't, something doesn't gel. There, we heard you. We've already discussed in the committee, Kathy, we have discussed numerous things in the committee that we've discussed in previous meetings at length. So this is not a surprise, or it shouldn't be.
Folks, you have two more people online. You're walking up. We'll make it three more people online, and then I'm going to close this discussion, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Kenny, because you're back for time 3.
Okay.
10,046 Westminster Drive. If I understand correctly, there is going to be one speed camera that has been already purchased by WOA. Am I correct? All right. And the streets that are going to be governed by the speed camera are Newcastle and Whittingham. Am I correct?
If there's a third street I'm missing,
Well,
forgive me.
what about Winthrop?
Well, when the problem with Winthrop is it's a little narrow and it's difficult to have the speed cameras sticking out and then you wouldn't be able to have cars going in both directions.
All right.
Winthrop is a problem.
So I understand what you're trying to do. However, living on Westminster Drive, and I am sure there are other people that could, Harwood, Chichester, Leeds, these are all part of Greenbriar, and people speed all the time on those streets, if I can quote, Harwood Drive especially. I mean, so you as WOA are only covering Whittingham and forgetting about Greenbriar. In essence, because we don't have any speed cameras unless Greenbriar wants to purchase one.
Kenny, we are responsible for the roads that we are responsible for. Greenbriar is responsible for theirs. Although they will make their decisions about how they wish to proceed. And I have to accept that as a rhetorical statement from you because we can't answer for Greenbriar. Thank you. Marcia, since you haven't spoken yet and he's back for his 3rd visit, you're waiting up there.
Marcia Forrest, 11 Whitehall.
One more.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
If I didn't understand, correct me. The police right now have no authority in here.
In terms of issuing tickets,
Okay,
coming in
so
and doing, I'm
what-
not familiar with all of Title 39 at all, as a
Well,
matter of
I'm
fact.
not talking about crimes that are committed,
You know,
murders.
and right, when an accident happens, we call the police and they are certainly
So
entitled to be here.
What do we accomplish? I'm looking at this sheet.
Mhm.
What do we accomplish by contacting the Monroe Township Police Department if let's see, 3 or more offenses? What are we going to do? We contact them and they say, thanks for contacting us?
Good question. Good question.
Well, maybe we should rethink all of these rules. My God, we're being ruled to death in this community. Why don't we get a phone book?
Marcia, please restrain to this. Okay, now there's one more woman who hasn't spoken. Ma'am, before,
To go back for a second, you as a homeowner can file a complaint once you get the information that FedEx, UPS, or somebody else is complaining. You can file a complaint with the police department as a homeowner. And then they can react to it. Well, thank you for that. Good Lord.
Hi, Chris Perillo, 59 Harwood. I live on Harwood. I see a lot of cars passing by very quickly. I see the pros and the cons with many questions that have been brought up today. I do appreciate the safety committee's time put in on this because I myself was one of the people who did have concerns about the speeding. What I have to say right now, though, is, especially since I'm not the lower part where the speed camera. Okay. But I heard someone say that in the bylaws, which there's just so many, I did not know that this existed in the bylaws. But it does say somewhere that security has some type of jurisdiction. So wouldn't the simpler, easiest reason to just maybe retrain security? I'm not saying not to do
Not arguing.
cameras or other things, but in addition to that, perhaps retrain them to do the job that it states they're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. And Alan announced at the last meeting that that is one of the things that we are doing.
Oh, okay,
And our-
I don't
and our
remember
sec-
that. That's
and our security
outsourcing now.
company
Okay.
is going to train the security people in the use of the radar guns and that sort of thing. So they will have some.
Terrific. Thank you.
And one thing I would add before we move on to that question, the report that Tom read, which was today's activity, it was an 8-hour period of time with 376 speeders. Think about that number. It's a big number. For people who are saying there's not a lot of speeding here, it's a lot of speeding. 48 miles an hour in a 25 is pretty excessive, right? That's the whole reason that we're trying to do this. Security, as good as they are, could never stop 376 people in an 8-hour period of time. This is an effective way to slow down traffic, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. That's the whole goal, is to slow down traffic so nobody gets injured, there's no accidents, no fatalities.
And hopefully we make no money. We would like nothing better than to make no money.
Then
That
how are you gonna recoup the 12,000?
Tom, question. What guidelines are we following for the speed sign height, for the sign heights, for the lines, for the speed? Are we following Title 39 or New Jersey?
Well,
I'm sorry.
No, we don't, but why? I'm not sure I understand the question. First of all, we're exempt from
Yes.
from
No,
that,
but the
but-
safety committee and
we had an
the
engineer,
entire-
we had an engineering company come in. And for example, you're talking about the, what am I doing?
the stop signs, remember you said you
The
adjusted
stop
them
signs
to
had
the
to be
correct
to a
height?
specific height, right? We also had them design the proper width for a walking path.
Correct.
So in compliance with.
So the
with what-
company is doing it. Are they,
The engineering company that we hire
right?
gave us the design.
Gotcha. Do we know if they are following the Federal Highway Administration? It's called the Uniform Manual for Traffic Control Devices. It's nationwide. And that's the rules and regulations for heights, for lines, for everything. So hopefully they're doing that.
The answer is yes.
All right, because if we are doing that, and if we are modeling Title 39, which is governed by that, then I'd like to just let everybody know that if the state was in here, or if Whittingham Drive was a public road, the speed limit, with the exception of in front of this building, would be 50 miles an hour.
Good for you.
For a residential zone in the state of New Jersey on a public road, you have to have 300 foot of house frontage, not property, of house frontage in a 600-foot area to be a residential 25-mile-an-hour district. Otherwise, it's 50 miles.
I
an hour.
would really hope that you can change your Thursdays so that you can come to a safety committee meeting and give them the benefit of what it is. Of their knowledge.
Miriam, I ran for it and didn't get picked. So what can I tell you?
Don't-
What can I tell you?
What? Oh.
Whoa.
Miriam?
Bob?
Miriam?
First of all, I
Wait.
personally invited you to a meeting.
Just now.
You don't have to run for the sake, you can, and we had a certain limit. And you could, we told anybody in the public could come to any meeting, suggest whatever you want. Well, it's good for everybody else. So what do we do?
Miriam?
All right, thank you.
No, let me say something.
We have questions.
Hello,
Wait,
I,
Excuse, Tom?
no, I want to say something now. I've been on this board. I'm not on the safety issues, but I've been on this board for 3 years. And every single meeting that I came to, people got up there and carried on about how dangerous it is to live here with the speeding, going through stop signs. I have lived in Whittingham. I see them go through stop signs every single day. Nobody stops. I do. Okay, I understand. So we created a committee for the speeding because that's step number one. I just want to tell you that other communities have gone down this road before us. They have the police now because the community residents would not try to save for the safety of their friends and neighbors or anything else. So I just want to comment about that. We're not trying to force things on you. We're trying to save you from your neighbors hitting them.
Excuse me, Jamie, you have questions from the folks on Zoom, please?
Okay, just a reminder to everyone on Zoom, please don't use the raise hand feature. Please type your question into chat. Okay, so the first one is from Steve. How much did you spend on the camera? You answered that. That was voted on at a previous meeting and is in the minutes for you. Kathy L. It's a comment. It's like living in a prison. Mr. Verb, fellow residents, the problem is not the rules. The problem is the residents not following the rules. Bill Baldezone, this can't be enforced legally, will be challenged. Speed equipment needs to be calibrated and certified in addition to requirements that are not being met. In addition, this is illegal to use our personal information. Just so that everyone is aware, the machine is calibrated. It's a part of the agreement with the purchase. It came with the purchase. All of the license plates are loaded into a software, so no one is spending man hours looking up license plates. It automatically generates the ticket, which would say, this is how fast you were going. This is what the fine amount is. And tickets were also, they've been issued here for over 15 years. There was a radar gun here, just so everyone knows. It's upstairs in the office. It hasn't been used in the last few years. We only had 2 people in the gatehouse that were certified to use it and they retired. So new employees in security will be trained, but tickets were issued based on radar here for many, many years. So I want to make sure everyone understands that that's not a new policy. That's been in effect. So it is calibrated. The speed equipment is all goes into a software. Then the last one was just that they couldn't hear. So we got everybody on Zoom.
No, oh, ma'am, oh, you're going to share. Okay. good. Last question, your name and address, please.
Okay. Hi, I'm Marilyn Kirster at 56 Westminster. Have you ever thought of putting up 4-way stop signs by when you
It's
come in
been
the
one
gate?
of the thoughts, yes, as well.
Yeah, because that's, and I know there's a little bit of an issue with all the speed stuff. The fact that a lot of people have cars on the street, a lot of roads are kind of narrow and they're curving and people are flying. Yes.
Makes for a messy situation.
Yes. So, and I curse a lot when I see these people. Okay. So I would hope somewhere along the line, one of these combinations does work out.
We do too.
Because they're way too many lead foots in here. That's my thing.
Thank you very much. All right, to the attention of the WOA board, please. I would believe that after listening to all of the comments and the concerns, I am going to ask for a motion to table the speed policy. And may I have a motion to that effect, please? Return it to committee. Thank you. May I have a second on that motion? Would you call the roll call, please, for the vote?
Miriam Cohen,
Yes.
Tom Cole,
Yeah, yes.
Karen Schoenberg, Larry Rosen, Jay Rustler, Sergeant Sandu.
So I would like to ask that since this will go back to the safety committee, for them to look at it again and take into account all of the comments that were made, I would appreciate it if you would come back next month. And this can be, and if you have comments you wish to send to the safety committee, please do so. For those of you who were not able to attend meetings regularly, all meeting minutes are available so that you could read them and see what was discussed relative to the speed policy and the camera, et cetera. And that would be of help when it gets discussed again. All right, so that is now tabled. If I could find the agenda. Good. The next was the condo driveway, oops, I'm sorry. Condo driveway paving update. The driveway paving has started and will continue for 2 more weeks. I do know someone called the office to complain about the noise. Those trucks start up very early and they go out from our parking lot and it's really noisy. And I heard them in my house on Westminster Drive and I said, what the heck am I hearing? So that will go on for another 2 weeks and then that will be done. Sure. That's fine. It's just, I know that a notice had gone out, but regarding the paving. Sure. Your name again, please. Sure.
My name is Linda Carrazzo and I'm 34 Leeds.
Thank
And my property faces Whittingham. So this was before 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I hear all these beeping sounds. So is it I would like to know how many vehicles do we have in that parking lot that are being rented? Besides the vehicles that are paving?
We have 8 rental spaces. And I'm actually who you spoke with in the office. None of them are new. So they used to be parked next to the bus stop, which was a little closer to your home. I had explained to you. Now they've been moved over a few rows and the trees were parked as a buffer. And there's actually less there now. There was 27, but now there's 8.
So we have 8 vehicles that are here that you get paid for.
Yeah, it has to be
The
a home.
community gets
It has
paid
to be
for
a
it. It's not
Right, the
homeowner.
community gets paid for.
Yes,
Okay.
homeowners.
All right, because it's unsightly what's going on right now. I understand it's because of the paving. All right, that's fine. But also, what about the bistro vehicles? So is that included in, there's 5 vehicles that are trucks that are in the parking lot as well?
They have separate vans.
Right,
They-
so,
they
I
have a
mean-
contracted, that is not included in the rentals. That's separate.
Right, so that's actually then 13 vehicles that are in our parking lot.
And what are you concerned about, ma'am? You were
Okay.
concerned about the noise from the
I was
trucks
concerned about the noise.
Right.
I'm concerned about that there's vehicles in our parking lot
Mhm.
that people come into this community. It's supposed to be a gated community and we don't know who's coming in and out to those 13 vehicles.
But is that, we know who's coming in and out?
For-
That's not true. We
for-
know who's coming. in.
All of the rentals are homeowners that live here. So you know who they are because they live here.
Okay,
And then for B Bistro, each employee is registered, just like the WOA employees. We're each registered, we get an ID card. So we do know who's coming in and out.
okay, so that was another phone call that I had to call security. One evening, I'm hearing this noise at like 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm up very odd hours. And there was an 18-wheeler in our parking lot delivering to B Bistro because B Bistro runs a catering business in the middle of the friggin' night. And as far as I understand, we are not getting paid rent from B Bistro, which I never understood a business that is being run out of our community that does not pay rent. Is that correct that they pay no rent?
Yes, it is correct.
Okay, so
Never, not any restaurant, anyone purveyor has not paid rent for for a number of years.
wait a second. So I have many people that I know that own restaurants And I am sure that I could find someone that will come in the community
Please do. I'm
and
going
and
to,
pay,
please do.
and pay you rent
Please do.
because this is ridiculous.
Please do.
Yeah,
I would really appreciate it.
yeah. I
Now,
mean, I never heard of
I
such a
would
thing.
truly
I
appreciate
don't
it.
understand who made that deal. Even if, who pays the gas and electric and for them? Are they paying gas and electric to run that place? They're not paying.
Ma'am,
They're
we
not
are-
paying.
I am going to ask that we not have that discussion now.
Okay, that's a pretty
I would
serious
be, we
discussion.
can certainly put the bistro on our agenda for our next meeting.
Yeah, I think so.
And you can ask whatever you want.
Thank
And
you.
I repeat for everyone in this room that if they are aware of a restaurant that would like to come here,
100%.
the
Do they
board
have a
would
con-
really appreciate it.
Do they
Thank
have a
you.
contract with you guys?
Yes,
For how long?
the contract had a 1-year date.
Okay, and okay,
But I really would like to put it on the agenda, and I would suggest that when that it be discussed and that the board certainly would be interested. We have been looking for a full-time restaurant for quite a while.
okay, all right.
So thank
all
you
right,
very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Can I say something else or I have to wait till the next thing? Because I have one more thing to
Could
say.
Are we going to get a quick statement so we can move on a little bit, please? What's your question?
No, I'll wait. I'll
Thank
wait. It's
you.
All right, I'll wait. Go to the next and I'll give you
Thank
the
you.
next.
I'm Mimi Siegel, 19A Rutland.
Yes.
I agree with the lady before me. Exactly. When you pull into our parking lot, we look like an industrial lot. And the other thing that I wanted to say
Yes.
is when I go to play golf in the morning,
Uh-huh.
there are cars parked in the resident-only spots that do not have our barcode.
Really?
Yes, I would say certainly 6 or more almost every morning.
Did you
And
call security and tell them?
I
that?
haven't called security,
Uh-huh.
but it's very annoying.
Well,
I
we
have
can-
to park all the way
I
down.
agree with you. I agree with you.
Yes.
So what we will do is we will ask that security, excuse me, I think I probably needed some of the water I spilled. That security check that lot in the morning because of your report that that is what's happening.
Yes.
Sure, sure, not a problem to do that. Oh, you'll feel so much better.
And then I'm done for the night.
Well, then we look forward to seeing you next month as well.
I will be here next month.
Good. Good.
Okay, so I have a little story to tell everybody.
Uh,
Yeah, I have a lot of stories. So 2 years ago, I think it must have been 2 years, I was on the entertainment committee. And I happened to, that's what I do. And for my retired years, I'm booking entertainment, okay? So I was on the entertainment committee and they needed somebody to perform. And I called somebody that I know and I got a price and everything. I don't know if everybody's aware. We have an agent that
yes, we've always had an agent.
Okay, so, okay, but I'm just gonna say, wait, let me finish.
Sure,
So
sorry.
We had an agent and I could have booked the deal right then and there. I
Right.
could have actually booked it.
Mhm.
Okay, but we had to go through our agent. All right. So the next month we get an accounting of the whole situation
Mhm.
about how it made money, didn't make money. So the performers were $1,500. That's what I know that they were getting. I see on the form, $3,000. I said, and I came to the meeting. I said, $3,000. They only got 1,500. So Arnold, this agent that we need desperately, he had to call me and try to explain it away for,
And you didn't like his explanation?
well, how,
I'm asking you.
listen,
not
I'm an
asking
agent.
you.
You know, you don't get 100%. You don't get, the money doesn't double. If I book somebody for 500, I don't get 1,000 and get 500 also. So the performers got 1,500 and Arnold and whoever else got the $1,500 too, because, and I said to Arnold, I said to him, first of all, if you want to have your expenses, it shouldn't be listed as the entertainer's expense. It's your expense and it should be delineated that way. It shouldn't be said that the performers got that money because they didn't get that money. So obviously people in the entertainment committee probably didn't like me because I was a little bit too outspoken, but it's baloney what goes
I
on.
would doubt that they disliked you.
Okay, so I would really like, I don't know how this works, but I would love it, this board to look into the practices of the entertainment committee and the money and how it's being spent. When I was
All right,
looking at,
I-
okay, when I was looking at the shows, when they were doing the shows in the high school,
Which we don't do anymore.
okay, the shows were like 18,000, 20,000, 15,000. I know entertainers that they don't get that kind of money.
I really, first of all, you know.
Well,
we
okay, I
need
had
to.
to speak.
And I would be,
I'm sorry, but I think you all need to be aware of what goes on in this community.
all right.
Right, I was never
Wait.
here, but I was never so
President-
aggravated about what goes on. here.
Well, I think that all of us on both boards here work very hard, and we are volunteers and we are your neighbors, and just let me finish. We are not an enemy. We are people who are attempting to do a good job. If there are things that you have concerns about and you own expertise, we would be pleased to hear about them.
Okay.
The
Thank
shows
you
in the
very
high
much.
school have a whole budget that someone can share with you. It went far beyond the entertainer, what it cost us to be there. So that would be.
Right, but I just
certain.
want it noted
I-
what the entertainers cost, and then it should be noted. well,
There
this
is
expense,
no
that
reason
expense.
that can't all be discussed.
Okay, that's great.
Certainly not be no reason at all.
Okay,
All right.
Thank
and
you.
I thank you for those concerns. You are going on now with the rest of our meeting. We need the court 3 up, tennis and pickleball court. Hi, Larry, your turn.
Everybody calm now. As I announced at the last meeting, we repurposed court 3 for dual play tennis and pickleball. It was great that both the tennis and pickleball clubs got together, worked
Yes.
this out, cooperated.
Larry, louder,
It was
better, good.
It was very, very, very nice that the pickleball club and the tennis club got together, cooperated and did it. We're also in the process of repairing courts 1 and 2. What I've been doing is going by the court 3 in the evening and seeing that it's been pickleball play, pickleball club. And I go by courts 4 and 5 and I see nobody there. So I guess they prefer now court 3. So I guess that worked out well. And I hope they continue to cooperate. Thank you.
We have one more item that's specifically WOA business. And in light of all of the discussion about the safety committee, I would like to entertain a motion to extend the life of the safety committee till the end of the year. Is that it? Yes, may I have a motion to that effect? May I have a second? May I have a roll call on that, please?
Miriam Cohen,
Yes.
Tom Cole,
Yes.
Karen Schoenberg, Jay Respler, Larry Rosen, Surjit Sandhu.
Thank you. That motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the joint business update. Gentlemen to my left, you are part of this as well.
Yes, the merger update. There's not much more to report than what we reported at the last meeting. The language is in the hands of the attorneys and they're, excuse me, they're constructing language that will protect the things that many people are concerned about. As soon as we have that information from them, we will share it with the committee. I'm with the committee, with you, the community. Alan or anybody on your group want to add to that?
I'm not sure that there's anything else to add other than it's an ongoing process and unfortunately it's a very timely process. Attorneys from both sides have been talking probably 6 to 8 months at this point. So our hope was that this would have happened in September while we're voting for new officers. But timing looks like it will probably happen in the spring if everything continues on as is. But we are moving forward. It looks good, but we're working with the attorneys to make it all happen. So stay tuned.
We've established some goals to reach, but they're not cast in granite and we have to do things properly and legally, and we'd like to share it all with you folks so that everybody can have their input. So it just takes time.
microphone back to you, Alan. You have committee updates, beginning with your Budget and Finance Committee.
Okay, Jack?
Sorry. Greenbriar Committee updates.
Not on yet.
The Budget and Finance Committee is setting up a budget for next year, was scheduled to meet tomorrow. Because many of the members of the committee and the controller would like to attend the services for Alan Swenson tomorrow. That meeting has been postponed for approximately 1 week. But we always value the Finance Committee. A very important thing, and as Alan was referring to, the attorneys are working out committees and separate budgets and making sure that no monies get intermingled anywhere. So we are working on this, but the Budget and Finance Committee will have its second meeting of the season, most likely next Thursday. Thank you.
We would like you to hold any questions you have regarding the committee reports until the end of the meeting, and we go to open forum, please. Ellen, I'm sorry. Jack, I'm sorry.
Okay. The covenants?
That's okay.
We had a meeting of the Covenants Committee today. Oh, sorry, excuse me. We had a meeting of the Covenants Committee today. We met with a homeowner who wants to expand their patio. It was explained to him what the Site Review Committee had determined and the standards for the proper sizes of our decks and patios, so that we don't have drainage, we don't have hydrology problems. And the Covenants Committee will report its decision back to the homeowner and then back to the board, so that we can record it, and the homeowner will be free, depending on what the committee decided, to appeal to the board if they wish.
Site review.
Yes, the site review committee at the beginning of August. We received 26 applications and reviewed them. 2 applications were not approved. We conducted 15 inspections.
Louder.
Okay, we conducted 15 inspections during the month of August. We reviewed 26 applications, of which 2 were not approved.
Okay. And our final committee is newcomers, which I am the liaison. Not a lot new at this point. Joan Hermele and I had a very impromptu meeting at the pool over the weekend where we discussed having another meeting late September, maybe early October. And that's that. So,
Well,
thank
good.
you.
So we can have the microphone back,
That's
right?
you.
Okay. We begin WOA Budget and Finance. Karen Schoenberg.
We're scheduled to have a meeting tomorrow, but unfortunately, this is a big vacation time and a significant number.
Louder.
Significant number of members of the committee could not make the meeting tomorrow. So we are rescheduling it for a short period of time.
Covenants. Oh. Covenants says no report for us. Oh, no, there's been no action on Covenants Committee. Entertainment Committee. Gail is away on vacation, and you all know we do have a show on Sunday afternoon, and I believe it is sold out. Good landscape, again, Gail is away on vacation. Safety Committee has been, we've safety to death at this point. We don't need another committee meeting. Okay. Site review, Karen.
Yes, the site review committee for WOA and Whittingham met on July 21st. We received 1 application for work of painting the front door, and that was approved. We also have 7 inspections that were done to make sure that we got it done as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Town Center? Any report this evening, or is this no report? Thank you. I'm going to move to open forum. I see someone coming to the microphone. Oh, look at that. Oh, goodness gracious. Folks, I'm going to ask, excuse me, please, that you would adhere to the 3-minute time limit, please. Thank you.
My name is Diane Vernicus.
Louder.
My name is Diane Vernicus. I'm at 6 Winton's Way. wanted some clarification. I wrote to Jamie last month and then I copied several members of the WOA board. There was a situation about ping pong in the ballroom during the week in the afternoon. I was told to leave one day. There were 5 tables being used with mahjong and card players, but the other 2 card rooms in the building had tables available. I was told by a recreation manager that I had to leave. So I do want some clarification. There are people that come with grandchildren on occasion. The ping pong tables are located here.
Yes.
Many times there are line dancing going on while people are playing ping pong, or there's an exercise, and the room is shared by all of us.
Yes, it is. I know that.
And I just want clarification that it's okay. I don't want to be embarrassed to be
I
ejected
understand that.
from the ballroom in the middle of the week.
I-
So if you,
Yes,
I
and
missed the
I
recreation.
know, yes, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize. But the board.
I do.
We did discuss it. And we did discuss developing a schedule that would be available. Then we wanted to be fair to everyone. We were concerned that our ping pong players feel welcome. So I think that we're going to develop a schedule. The board will look at the schedule and see if it looks good and if it looks like it's workable. And certainly we can share it with ping pong players so that everyone is aware and that they feel
Right.
okay with it. So we will make you aware of it. It'll come when the schedule is done, and you can certainly comment on it, and we would ask others as well.
Well, I was concerned that no one responded to.
I
my
am
letter.
sorry. I am sorry that happened, but we did talk about it. We did not ignore it, and I'm sorry you didn't know that.
And when can I expect?
I would think within the next 10 days to 2 weeks, simply because we do have a candidates night next week. We do have an election coming up. And I don't want to promise something that that can't be delivered. I would hope it's sooner than that. Better, I should be wrong. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, but you will. Thank you. Oh, God, you're really having such a good time tonight.
It'll be less than 3 minutes.
You promised me
I
that.
promise.
Okay, good.
Bob Forsack, 138 Chai.
Yes, Bob.
Tom, first thing, when's the next meeting?
Aha, we're doing Thursday.
Next week? Is it 4th Thursday? Next
It's
week?
next Thursday.
Okay. And the last one is, at the last community meeting with you guys, I asked and made a suggestion that we could have something printed, email, something in the paper about what security does and doesn't do because of the complete in talking with
can end
people
right
in the
there. I got
community,
what you're
nobody knows what's going on.
Okay.
Is anything, are we going to hear anything
Fair
about
question.
that?
We will take care of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Dono, I see you were back again. Yes. Your name and address for the record, please.
Absolutely. Catherine Dodano, 31 Leeds Lane.
Thank you.
My concern is about the Budget and Finance Committee. I serve as a committee member. The mission statement of Budget and Finance is that you meet twice a month, perhaps more. We have had one meeting in 8 months. That is absolutely correct, and I think the same goes for the WOA board. I'm on the Greenbriar.
Oh,
board.
sorry. I wasn't recognizing your name from Greenbriar, from WOA, so
No,
my
sorry.
apologies.
Not a problem, but it concerns me.
Mm-hmm.
There have been 5 cancellations. I understand the situation. I
Mhm.
understand Sean's condition,
Mm-hmm.
but he has an assistant that the HOA pays for. Why can his
Ma'am,
assistant?
please hold
not-
it. No one
not
is
run
being
the
disrude to
meeting?
you, so let her finish and let us see what responds.
I
Thank
just
you.
want to understand why his assistant cannot run the meeting. I'm a budget director.
Yes, I know who
If
you are.
my assistant could not run my meeting,
You'd have a problem.
I would have been long gone. One meeting in 8 months. I'm very concerned about the financial condition of the committee, of the community. And I'm only looking at Greenbriar.
And you're looking at Greenbriar, so I would suggest it's certainly reasonable. Stephanie is his assistant. I think it is certainly reasonable for the leadership of both committees to discuss having Sean prepare Stephanie, who is always at the meetings and is usually at our meetings, by the way, prepare information. But she's green.
I said the mission
Greenbriar.
statement.
Okay.
You didn't hear what I said.
But I don't want the two of you. Please don't do this. He is the head of the finance. He's head of the budget committee. And as such, he wanted to provide you information. I would suggest that you chat after the meeting. I would also remind everyone that all of the finance information is available online. It is not that you can't see where we are and where we are with our budget and how things are going, but certainly you should meet with Stan Gross, who is the head of the Budget and Finance Committee for WOA, and he will be happy to address any concerns with you. And, okay, thank you. You'll go Greenbriar, so whomever, but you can. Okay, who is in charge of Greenbriar's Finance Committee? I saw a me. No, you can
Stanley
discuss
Gross.
WOA's information is for WOA, but you can discuss Greenbriar with her. That will address her issues. Hi again. Hello.
Hi.
Good to see-
I'm still Marilyn Kirstner. and
Well,
I'm
this is
still
good.
At 56 Westwood.
Okay.
Okay. So
My name.
mine is totally boring. It has to do with trips and things.
We can't hear you,
Oh,
Mara.
sorry. You don't want to hear Brooklyn accent. Okay. So number one, why do we have to sell tickets so damn early in the morning, like 6:30? That you have to pay one of your friends to go stand online? That's one. Number two, why don't we do like other communities do? You sell to the residents first.
That's
If
what
it
we do.
doesn't sell out, then you.
We
invite-
do. That's what we do.
No?
Yes,
No.
that's changed and no one told me. We
Yep.
don't change. Thank you. I heard you. Okay. That used to be the policy here, and perhaps when we stop using the high school, we're attempting to
All
work
right,
here. We
so
can certainly do
that's-
that again.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's one. But the 6:30 in the morning is.
Well, I would not be online, so that's okay.
Yeah, so whoever does that, make it later.
Okay.
The other thing is, all the communities, we're talking, all the relatives here, they all managed to do a nice theater trip.
A
where you
nice thea-
have
yes.
a bus going from the community, it takes you in, everybody goes to the show.
Usually it's the puns. I'm sorry.
No, what they do it at Regency.
And
they do it at
Regency too?
Stonebridge,
Okay.
They do it at Concordia, they do it at Clearbrook.
I,
We're the only ones who don't do it.
so I had spoken with both Jamie and Monica regarding that issue because someone had brought it to my attention
Right.
that if the other communities were able to do it, certainly Greenbriar should be
Absolutely.
able to do it.
Right.
So I think that it's on someone's list. I wish Monica was here, and she's not, to see, and Jamie is hearing it again.
Hi. So I think that when this changed, this policy did change was COVID because we weren't selling out
Right,
shows.
we
But
can do
now
this
that
again.
shows like ABBA and the
Yeah.
details are doing better, it's probably something that they just want to look at and possibly
Most of the
revise.
ones in the other communities,
Yeah.
what they do is they sell the tickets to the residents first.
That's what
Right,
we
oh,
always
right, and
did.
that's what
And
we
if
did.
it doesn't
Yep.
sell out, then they say,
That's-
okay, invite your
That's
friends.
what was always done here
That's
too,
what-
pre-COVID.
You're hearing an echo. That's what was always done here. Jamie's correct. When COVID threw everything into disarray,
I guess.
somehow that got lost, and I have
Don't be
spoken
quiet. Oh, my
with
God.
Monica about the possibility of our running a show, buying the tickets and selling them.
That would be wonderful.
I think so too. I think so too. Thank
Okay,
you,
bye-bye.
sir. It was a gorgeous pen she had.
Hi, my name is Norman Lederman.
Yes.
For Wilton Place. I was here last month to discuss, we are not receiving channel 26.
Yes, we've gotten nowhere with Comcast.
Right. Well, I called Steve Lamonte.
Was he helpful?
Not at all.
I
He-
didn't think
He is
so.
no longer the liaison for our community. And quite honestly, I'm not the only one who doesn't receive the community bulletin board, and help me out. Or what could I do to help the board?
I have never been able to reach the gentleman you tried to reach. I was given his number as the liaison.
He's impossible.
He's
but
impossible
I
to
finally
reach.
got him.
You finally got him, but he's not doing this work anymore.
No.
I think that
And
it
he has-
might,
Excuse me, he has no
That's all right.
one, he has no one to advise us from Xfinity. He mentions that it's our problem.
everything's always our problem. I think that, I think perhaps Harold Klein might be able to help. If you see me after the meeting, I have his phone number and I will see if he can reach, we can help you.
That would be great. Thank you very much.
I am sorry, because you told us you were really happy living
I
here. You want,
certainly am.
you
I
want
don't
channel
know.
26, right?
I'm still very happy.
Oh, good,
I'm
because
my
no
wi-
one else.
I'm my wife.
Good, but see me after the meeting and I'll see if
Okay,
maybe
thank
he can, my pleasure. Elaine, your name and address for our record, please.
Elaine Weiner, 61 Harwood Road. To change, this is. Shove it to me. Okay, to change the subject, I'd like to, we sort of skipped over the landscaping before.
Louder, Elaine.
To change the subject, we had skipped over the landscaping because the people who run it were not here. I was told that the area behind the gatehouse, they decided to put rose bushes. I don't know, this came from Gail. I don't know how accurate it
I
is,
believe it's accurate.
but I feel it's a mistake.
What do you think? should go
During
there?
the winters, first of all, is a lot of upkeep with roses. Second of all, during the winters, all you're gonna have are twigs. What you need are evergreens. You have sprinkler systems there, should make it easier. Also, our entrance is not the prettiest, unfortunately. There was really no thought with the flowers. We have one color. There's no rhyme or reason of the plans. It was like, this is the easiest thing to do. Let's throw in red. Unfortunately, the red, the smaller flowers clash with the roses. That red and pink, I'm not saying that no red or pink.
I'm
doesn't
not.
go.
Is it possible, have your remarks written?
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
I know you spent many years on landscape committee. So that we can make the board can see it and hold that information to discuss about the landscaping, what you said. It'll be in our minutes, right? Jamie? It is on our minutes. We will have it in our minutes. I just wanted you to
Yeah.
finish. I don't want to lose what you're saying. Go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
I just feel that our entrance
Okay.
used to be the nicest
It was.
entrance in any of the communities. But whatever happened, it's
Well,
not,
I think we're trying to make
it
that true
is
again.
lacking. It is
I'm
really
not
lacking.
arguing, So we are trying again and I know we are.
I'm hoping that something, and unfortunately, what happened to the front entrance should never have happened.
No, but it did.
It did happen,
It did.
but we don't have the money, I was told,
Well,
to fix
that's
the
not-
boo-boo.
They will. We had certainly difficulties because of all of the increased expenses and the 2 fires we had, which certainly didn't help things out, folks. So it is not, but I believe that there has been discussion at the board level about working to ensure that our landscaping is returned. I, of course, will not be part of those discussions because my term is ending and therefore my service to this community is ending. So I am sure that the incoming board members will very seriously address everyone's concerns around that and work to do that, Elaine. I'm sure of that.
I'm hoping so.
I would hope
because
so too. I
what
would
they
hope so
did to
too.
the entrance is
No,
a
I'm
is a
not-
sin.
Not an argument, Elaine.
It really is. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am. I noticed. It's your hair color and the sunglasses indoors.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Okay, so what I have to say is more of a comment than anything. It's like when I first moved here, the resident services, and I have to just say, Al, who passed, I have to tell you that we should all just say a little prayer for him
Of course.
and his family, because he was a wonderful man.
Yes,
He really was a wonderful man.
He was. He
And
was.
so when I moved here, I was able to have electrical and plumbing they used to do. They would turn on my outside water for me and do like little things for me. And then I was told that they couldn't do it anymore because the insurance, we couldn't pay the.
Correct.
Okay, so what I'm saying, since B Bistro does not pay any rent.
Could we not talk about
Okay,
the,
but I'm just saying,
please,
if we,
please
okay,
don't do that.
if we had a paying restaurant that would help to pay
We,
the
how many,
insurance,
how many years have you lived here now?
5 years.
You've lived here 5 years and we've had double that number of restaurants. I'm not challenging.
No, I know, I've seen.
I'm not challenging what you're saying. What I'm saying
Right.
is, it's been a very complex issue.
I'm not saying it hasn't been, but I'm saying if we can get
stay.
somebody that will come
And
in and
stay.
pay, it will
Right.
help to pay the insurance so we can have some of our services back.
Well, it would be nice. I
Right?
think that it will be discussed. As I said, it will be on the agenda and I know
Okay.
that the board will address.
The
it.
only other thing, since the woman that was speaking before me about the flowers and everything. so
That's
all-
Elaine Weiner. She's,
Okay, hi.
hi.
The only thing I could say is, I'm just noticing that when they mow the lawn, the back of my yard, it's like all clumped. It's like,
Talk to them.
yeah, it's all clumped. It's like, I don't know if the blades are bad or what's going on, but it's horrible.
But that is Greenbriar's issue with our gardener.
Okay, so maybe we need more, reputable gardeners.
They are not irreputable. They're certainly a reputable company. But
Okay,
that isn't necessarily the issue.
anyway, thank you so much for letting me speak.
We're closing.
Oh,
Are
one
you
other
done?
thing, wait, one other thing. So I just want to just say, on Leeds, about the speed situation, on Leeds Lane, it's like my block is 15 miles an hour. I have to say, maybe the speed limit needs to be reevaluated a little bit, because 15 miles an hour, I mean, I could walk that fast.
This is good. I hope you're walking. That is that has been brought up.
Okay, yeah, because that's a ridiculous 15 miles an hour is crazy. You just warm up your car, you're going 15 miles an hour.
And
Hello, everybody. I guess you know me by now.
I still need
Anyway.
your name for our record.
Bob, Bob Forsack, 138
Bob.
Chichester. I used to be on the landscape committee. I was on it for 4 or 5 years. My major in college, I have a Bachelor of Science in horticulture and ornamental horticulture. I know about landscaping. I know about plants and trees and shrubs. But anyway, just so everybody knows, and I heard Elaine, when I was on the committee, our biggest problem was behind the guardhouse.
Always.
And
Always.
just so everybody knows, at least listen to it. That is a very, very tough area to grow anything. And the reason is, when we get a large amount of snow, that's where the snow is piled, directly over that little wall with those plants. This snow will break plants. It will kill those plants. We don't have complete irrigation, if I'm not mistaken, over there. We only have partial irrigation.
Correct.
So it is a large problem. And 2 or 3 years ago, we thought and we looked into having landscape management services make the wall wider and higher.
Mhm.
And it was going to cost probably about 3 speed cameras. And it still wouldn't solve the problem of
No,
the
it wouldn't
weight
be
of
big
the
enough.
snow and
Correct.
everything else. So just so everybody knows, it is a problem area, and it's,
Because it was supposed to be our
It's,
back gate and it's
you
our
know,
front
it's
gate.
one of those things where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you
I
don't.
thank you for that.
All right?
I'm going to go to our last person for this evening, and then I'd like to make a closing comment and call for adjournment, please.
Hi, Lisa Baruch, 43 Winton's Way. Couple of issues. Why do we have to have Comcast?
Comcast is this, no, go ahead.
No, I mean, can't the community?
No, we can't. We can't. They-
Why?
That we have a contract with Comcast, and it is, they are the provider here.
We,
We have to
We-
do new lines, new wires. If another company comes in,
That's-
we also get a sum of money from Comcast because they're here. But it is, they are the provider and someone has to be willing to come in and put new lines in.
Well,
It's an issue.
also because that representative is useless.
Yes, he is. There is no discussion about his being.
Okay,
useless.
my second point is in the bathrooms at the outdoor pool, those floors are so unsafe,
Again,
soaking wet.
yeah,
I think also what they need to do in the indoor ladies locker room is put those rubber mats in the entire room. And the same for the outdoor pool,
okay,
because
Thank
it's
you.
not safe
thank you.
there.
Thank you. I am going to close the public portion of the meeting now. I would like to remind everyone that the candidates' night is the 22nd. Oh, it's award. It's Tuesday night at 7 PM is the candidates' night for WOA. So we would hope that all of you come. That's item one. Item two is to thank you for what's been a very interesting 10 years for me, but I will not be running for reelection. To thank you for coming, Marsha. I could always count on you to be happy that I'm gone anytime. So I knew why you were clapping, that you were happy I wouldn't be here. I would, and I thank you for your good manners at all times. But on that note, for more times than not, it's been an interesting and wonderful experience. I thank my colleagues on both boards for their support and assistance, and I have cared about this community, and I will continue to care. So good night, all.
Motion to adjourn, anyone?
Yeah, second.
Thank you.